is Rideshare Sean. I live in Manatee County, Florida, and I've been a full-time, over 6-year rideshare driver for Uber. I have driven a little bit for Lyft, but mostly I drive for Uber. And let's get this out of the way right now. Longer drives, bigger rides are way better than multiple smaller rides. That's the first thing. The first mistake that new drivers make is thinking that multiple rides, smaller rides, make up for a larger ride, and that is absolutely not the case. The wear and tear on your vehicle is crazy huge. The second big mistake that new Uber drivers make is letting more riders in the car than there are seat belts in the car. Do not do that. Just don't do it if you come off as having to be like a bad person or whatever. What that does is, I've done that 1, maybe 2 times. But what that does, and I did it like after like everybody got in the car and I figured it out, I was too late. It's way better if you figure it out in advance. When that question comes up, these riders will try everything. They'll say they'll give you $20 cash. They'll say they'll give you $50 cash, whatever. But what that does is that shuts the insurance off in the vehicle for everybody in the car, including you. So if you let people in your car, more people than there are seatbelts, you might come off like you're being a good person, but what that's actually doing is that is hurting you as the driver. Don't do it. Like, have them call another ride. Like what I always just tell people, I'm very straightforward with them. They can either call another Uber, and maybe another Uber driver will let a bunch of people in the car. But surefire way to actually solve that problem right then is to let 3 or 4 people in your vehicle, and then have them call another Uber for the remaining people. Or have them just cancel the ride completely and call an XL. It's way better to do that than it is to let those people in your vehicle. Just don't do it. You might come off as being a bad person. Whatever they say, they might call you names, they might whatever. But whatever happens, just don't do it, because if you say yes to them, you're really saying no to yourself. You're hurting yourself as the driver, and there are plenty of places for you to hurt yourself, believe me. That's the second big mistake. I would say that the third biggest mistake is like not listening to what your riders tell you. Like, if a rider is in your vehicle and they say something like, do you have a charger for your, like, I always have tri-chargers. I can charge like any phone that gets in the vehicle. I just automatically, it's plugged in and ready to go no matter what. But like, you'll notice, like, time after time, riders will ask you for those things. And if you hear that, I would say even if I hear it one time, I'll get that. I don't know, one time somebody asked me if I had Visine, I didn't get that. But like, normally a rider will ask you, do you have an iPhone charger? And I drive now I drive in the Manatee County market, but I've spent most of my time in the Pinellas County market. But either market, they're both the same. Apple iPhones have the market share. That's just the way it is. They think it's like a fad or something that is really cool. Apple products last a long time. I like them. They just work really good. But anyway, I just always have a tri-charger in the vehicle so I can charge any phone on anybody that gets in the car, and that they're going to have a phone. Like, the older people, they really don't care if their phones like run out of juice, but the younger people, it's a very big deal. Like, sometimes, like, people will get those charges and they act like there's air coming on them. They need to survive. And like older people, they couldn't care any less. They just don't care. So that's like the third mistake that new Uber drivers make. That just, if you hear somebody say anything, request anything, ask your question, you got this, you got that, listen to that and get that. Unless it's something that's like crazy. Like I had that one time a person asked me for Visine. No, I don't got any Visine. I mean, I got Visine for myself, but I just say no. That's like the fourth thing. If you don't have something for a rider, just say no. Right off the bat, don't beat around the bush. Just say either you got it or you don't. If you got it, yes. Like usually, I would say like high percentage of the time, like riders would ask me if I had a phone charger for their phone. And I got phone chargers, no problem. They're right there. They're already plugged in, ready to go. Like I usually leave them in the pockets behind the seats. But, like after I've given a couple rides, riders just tend to throw them on the floor when they're done. So I just tell people that's where they are. They're plugged in and ready to go. And I have 2 in the back and 2 in the front. So, usually like a single rider will get it in the front, but sometimes a single rider will just get in the back, whatever. It doesn't matter to me, whatever they want to do. But there's chargers there for everybody all of the time. There always is a car charger in my car for everybody all of the time. I remember I used to leave here. I live in Manatee County, Florida. So I would leave here and go to the next county north and drive in the next county north. The next county north of here is Pinellas. And then in September 2023, I don't know, Uber just does some crazy stuff. And they just stopped giving me ride requests in Hillsborough County or in Pinellas County. I mean, right when I would get inside Manatee County, then I would start getting requests. I mean, this is like an all the time thing. That's how I knew. I mean, if it was just like 1 day or 2 days, I would understand. It's no big deal. But I mean, this was an all the time thing. I would ride around, I would ride through a surge in Pinellas County and not get anything. And it would happen all the time. So that's that fifth thing. It can happen just like this. You could be looking in the Uber app on your phone, and the person next to you could be looking at the Uber app in their phone, and they could be seeing something completely different than what you're seeing. Just remember that Uber has complete control, and they can control down to the granular level. They can control you one by one, or they can put you in a group. They have the ultimate control over you. Remember that. And another thing is the surges. I chase those surges, and remember that. When you get to the surge, Uber can take the surge away from you. What you're seeing is only in your phone. That's another thing. I wouldn't talk to any other drivers. I don't have any friends or have any girlfriends. I don't talk to anybody. So all I do is just talk to my riders and just keep to myself, and that is it. So just remember that. All that I do is just isolate just to me. So when I would see a surge, I would go to that surge, and sometimes, usually about 7 out of 10 times, I would pick up that surge, and then the rest of the time they would just disappear. I mean, and there were times that I would decline, and that's another thing. Just because a ride request comes to your phone does not mean you have to accept it. Whatever the ride request is that comes to your phone, right off the bat, just look at that and cut it right in half. That's basically what's happening. All the numbers that you see from these riders, this hourly pay and this and that, what you want to see, what you actually want to know, that seldom happens, seldom anybody sees, is what the actual driver takes home after expenses are paid. Expenses like gas, expenses like maintenance on your vehicle, expenses like your food. Anything that you spend is an expense. Then what is left over after that, which isn't much. I mean, like, sometimes maybe like $20 or $30 or something. I don't even know. It's low, very low. But the money that you get after expenses is the money that you keep. If a request comes through and it's like $50 or $100 or whatever, that's great. What is the amount of money that's left over after the fact? And a thing that I always do, like a mistake that Uber drivers make, a lot of new Uber drivers make this. I made this mistake. Do not, like, you need to decide before you get behind the wheel and drive whether you're going to drive for yourself or you're going to drive for Uber Pro. Period. Make that decision before you get in the car. Before you drive. Like, me as a driver for the past 6 years, I do not care about Uber Pro. I am driving for myself. I'm not, like, I just looked online and, like, right now it's July of 2024 and Uber has a complete company valuation of $143 billion, and Uber Pro, driving for Uber Pro, contributes to that. I'm interested in getting some of that money myself and some of that money to other rideshare drivers. Uber is a huge thing. It's a great idea and people use it all the time, but Uber treats all drivers like trash. There is no way that you're gonna make any money driving for Uber. I mean, it is possible to make money, but you're not going to make a lot of money. If you're interested in making a lot of money, you need to look elsewhere, because Uber is very high risk for a very low amount of money. That's just the way it is.
Oh my god, are you okay there? Is everybody okay? Are you okay? Jesus Christ. You okay? You're stressed, right? Is that okay? Awesome.
If you guys really want to see how to set up your Uber vehicle, check out this video here.